one of the things that I actually love when I see is when people go viral and then they try to capitalize on it. I remember uh oh boy who Where the Money Reside. Remember
Oh,
when
yeah,
where the
and he
money
had a good little run.
He did have a good little run. And you know what I noticed is that, people were like giving him shit for doing things that were still connected to that,
Yeah.
creating t-shirts, being on shows. I think he eventually was on a reality show. And the reason why I say it is because you really do have to capitalize. I use me as an example. So the engagement video of Derek and Jonathan a few years back, I recorded it. I don't
Yeah,
know if I ever told you that.
I think so,
I
I
told you
know
that, right?
'cause you were
Yeah.
doing a lot with, like, their photo stuff.
Right. I recorded it
Yeah.
not knowing that this video was gonna be viewed by millions of people. I mean millions. And shout out to my boys, Jonathan and Derek. Although I wasn't pushing being a creator back then, I still was wanting to be a photographer and videographer. And that's a great example
Mhm,
of me not taking advantage of my moment. Because just imagine if I was really serious about it, the
mhm.
power of putting something at the bottom of that video that directed people to me, whether it
Yeah.
be my website, my IG name, whatever it may be. And I say that to say, like, people, you really have to take advantage
Yeah.
of these moments because you may never get that type of moment again.
And when they were people were giving him the money where the money reside, he literally was going where the money resides. Like,
Right.
why are we his catchphrase or his song was "Where the money reside." I expect him to do it all.
Right.
Anything that is gonna bring the money, like, the internet has brought in a lot of haters, okay?
It has.
You don't like to see people win, which is the weirdest thing for me, and maybe because
Right.
I love to toot people's horn, I love to hype people. Now, it's a little harder trying to hype myself up, and when people do it to me, I'll be like, "Oh, relax." But me, Imma hype you up because especially in this Disney space, people like
Yeah.
to say, "Oh, it's getting saturated, it's getting saturated." What they doing ain't got nothing to do with me, and it's not taking away any opportunity from me. It's not taking away no money from me because we talking about billion-dollar companies here. For the
Right.
most part, billion or million-dollar companies. It's enough space here for anybody. Now, if you wanna come in here and do and look like a lot of these people, different story, but what you got going, that don't stop nothing over here. Because what's gonna come
Right.
from me is gonna come from me.
I feel like creators get a lot of that hate, and I don't understand why. I will talk to people who will say things like, "I can't believe this mom has 500,000 followers, and all she does is post tips on how to get your kid in bed by 8."
Mhm.
And I'm just like, what is the issue with that?
Yeah.
What is the issue with anyone doing something that creates a better life for them? And it is weird. That's the only word I can think of. Why are you mad at someone for trying to have a better life? They're
Like a
not hurting anybody.
spoken like a true person from Long Beach, it's just weird.
Seriously,
Like, I
it
don't
is.
know because, I used to hear where it's like people would complain, especially with Disney stuff, when people get invited to stuff, they're like, "Why are they sending these influencers here? And they could have sent a family to experience this." Well, they're doing both,
Right,
but a lot of times, how did you hear about it? You heard about it because of an influencer. Or
right,
a creator. I think it's just because you see somebody else get something for free. When an influencer is posting their PR packages, and it's like they get all this stuff for free, but I'm like, you're forgetting the work that these people have done. You might not be influenced by this person because you are in fact a hater. But there are other people out here, probably hundreds of people out here who have been influenced by them. People are like, "Oh my, I bought this because of you. Dominique told me she liked this hair product, so I bought this from her. Yeah, or from this brand."
right,
That mom that you're hating on, I got her video saved in my phone because when the time comes, I need to know, how do I
right,
put my kid down by 8 o'clock?
right.
And it's like, are you thinking because like, oh, well, I could do it? But you can. So do it.
Yeah,
I don't get why you feel the need to be a hater when
right,
when it's like these people have put in work. When you are, yes, as an influencer, you are getting the perks of going on these brand trips or you're getting sent out to do these things. But that's not a free trip. because you are working. When you're staying, when you get these hotel stay, these brands are asking, there's deliverables. It may,
Right.
because these creators are so good at what they do, it still looks authentic. And it still
Yeah.
looks like, because they're probably enjoying their time, but creating content in the same breath. Like, I can go to
Right.
Disney and still create and show you, oh, we have a new Pixar festival happening. Let me show you all the things that I've tried. But that's still me creating content because, one, well, I don't have to, but I'm creating the content, but it's still fun to me.
Right.
So I think for me that's what it is. It's like you only are seeing like the free stuff that they get, but you don't understand like the work that came or is coming from that free stuff too. So,
Yep. I do think it's in part because of the instant coffee
yeah.
culture as well. I think people are so fed up with the fact that they aren't where they want to be that they can't help but hate people that are where they want to be.
It's really sad too, especially like the FOMO that I think people get. And it's easier to say, you don't need to have FOMO. It's easier to say than it is to truly believe that.
Right.
When you're invited to certain things and it's like everybody that you know is there, but you didn't get it. Or
Right.
it's like, how do you tell someone, oh, it's going to be all right? Like, don't have FOMO. Someone might be like, but what did I do that's not good enough?
Right.
I think that's just human nature.
When we talked a little bit about people who just they can't stand seeing other people successful, happy, doing what they love. I think you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why. What about me am I so disappointed with that I hate seeing others do well?
Yeah.
And I think once people get to that point, they can become better human beings.
Yeah. People don't want to look in the mirror though. That's taking accountability, and why would you wanna do that? People don't wanna do that, because
It's
that's what I'm
true.
always telling people, I'm like, "You can do it." First of all, don't let
Yeah.
somebody tell you, especially Disney folks or aspiring Disney creators, don't let nobody tell you that this space is too saturated or you can't do something, because we all started somewhere.
Right. I love that. I feel like you've become your own product. Dominique Brown, Hello Domo, has become
Yes.
an actual product, right? So, what are some things that worked for you?
Definitely, like, whatever community you're trying to be a part of, you need to be a part of that community. If you're not engaging with people, making yourself like, "Oh, I'm in this space, like, I'd love to introduce myself." You can't expect someone to support you when you don't support as well. But not to say
Right.
like, "Oh, well, I'm only gonna support you if you support me." But you are like, when I joined the curly hair space, there were already girls in this space that I looked up to.
Right.
So I was already interacting with their things. And then when I started, like, they would interact with me too. And it's like, but there was a relationship there. In the Disney space, I became friends with other Black Disney girls where when the space was, I mean, it was about 10 of us or what, like
Yep.
that space was not huge. So anytime they would post something or whatever, like I would share their things, I would comment. Those things matter, especially when it's real. I'm not just
Yep.
sharing her stuff because it's like, oh, maybe she'll share my stuff. No, I'm rooting for this girl. There were times I would see a certain video and I would tag the homegirl, like, oh my God, do you see this? Like, this is so cool. That brings another eye to said creator, but also whoever that creator is now is seeing there's somebody else of interest. There's been girls that have DM'd me where it was just like, oh, I love this. How do I get started and everything? I'm gonna tell you, you could do it. I'm always root for you if you need tips, tricks, all of that. Just being yourself. Don't come into this space trying to be somebody else. Okay.
Yep.
They're already there. And it's probably about five other people who trying to be that person.
Yep.
I like to think, and I feel like people have told me this. I like to think who I am in real life is what you see online.
This is
Like,
true. I can vouch for that.